Welcome back, everyone, to Bowlero Chicopee here in Chicopee, Massachusetts, very close to Springfield. We are here for the first annual Northeast Megabucks Division Finals. And what we have are actually 4 matches going on across the 2 pairs in front of you. Our pairs are 23-4 and 25-6. There are 4 divisions in this tournament. There's under 35, 36 to 54, over 55 in women, and under 215 average. And each of those divisions now has its final 2 players that are going to roll off for each division title. And here we see one of the finalists is Alex Cavanaro, and Alex will be bowling Eric Copping. So if you look at the bowler in A, directly across from them, he will bowl C, and then B will bowl D. So here's Eric Copping. By virtue of being the high qualifier, he only has to win this match to win this division. And here's Eric starting off with a ring 10. Alex Cavanaro coming off a win against Justin Warhol. And now here is our under 15 division leader, Daryl McDuffie. And Daryl strikes on lane 24. And he's going to be bowling the survivor of the playoffs, Joshua Stanek. Up until now, it's been an eliminator format. Higher scores of however many bowlers win the top half advanced. We just had a single match with the semifinals, and now we are here for the division finals. So it is of course head-to-head. So now it's Eric Copping on the right, shooting this 10-pin. Now, interesting, the under 15 division does have a handicap component to it, and it will be Josh Stanek getting 20 pins of handicap versus Daryl McDuffie, who gets 3. So it'll be a 17-pin advantage for Josh right out of the gate. That's the only division that has any handicap. So kind of a long preamble, but we wanted to set up the matches for you. Bruce Hall here. It's my privilege through TechVision to be bringing you this live stream of the Northeast Megabuck Final, the first of, we hope, many. The center has been reserved for the next 3 years for this tournament. So set your Thanksgiving weekend aside for the next 3 years, folks, and get up here because this is a fantastic event. We had almost 400 entries altogether. Anyway, Bruce Hall here calling the action with my friend and tournament director and pattern expert, Mr. Greg Tack. How you doing, Greg?
I'm doing pretty good, and I'm doing pretty good. Thank you, Bruce, for having me on. You guys have been really good and really good to the tournament, really good to me, so thanks so much.
Well, great to have you here, and of course my son loves bowling your events down in New Jersey, and you put out the tougher patterns, but this is not so tough. This pattern is Gateway Arch, and it is 6-1. Tell us a little bit about the pattern and what kind of scores we can expect.
We can expect pretty high scores because the players are really good. This pattern is not as easy as it looks. It's very easy to shoot 150, as I found out myself. The outside part of the lane is not the greatest place to play. You want to play inside. You want to shape it and get it to the right, find the friction, and have it come in and carry. It is easy to have the ball stand up in the oil. But a couple big places to play. You can play up the boards or you can swing the lane.
And you'll see both of that. Here's Rich Strath, high qualifier for the 55 and over division, shooting 10-11, and he balled down and went straighter up the boards with a lot of success. And here's an example of crossing it with a lot of power. Anthony Scaccia. Anthony crossed right next to me last night, and he just made him look dog easy, just ripping him down about 12-8 maybe, and just crushing him. Here's Alex Cavanaro trying to cover up the 3, 4, 6, 7, and does so to stay clean and stay even with Eric Copping. So huge cover there for Cavanaro. And you gotta like Alex in any match he's in. He's so smooth. And now here's Josh Stanek. He's up on 24, and again, 20-pin handicap. We're going to have to be doing a little math here as we go. And that's high through the pocket, two-hander. And again, against Daryl McDuffie. Daryl shooting 998 with his handicap to lead the under 215 average division. There's Cody Shoemaker, who doubled in the 10th to shut out A.J. Chapman last match. Very exciting match. He's very slowly and very expertly shaping that pitch black. Greg, talk about working the urethane.
The Cody Shoemaker that I've gotten to know a lot over the last year. He is very good with urethane. He can put a lot of tricks on the urethane ball. He can roll it up the lane. He can twirl it, and
well, it looks
he's
like
doing that right now.
It looks like he's soft and going out over and around the pattern a little bit and getting it to finish, so good for him. Josh Stenek with a chop of the 3-6-10 as opposed to Daryl's double. So once again, we've got names now up here, and the bowler is bowling the person directly across from them. That's all that matters to them. No other match matters. And there's Eric Copping doubling, and that's going to put him in an 11-pin lead over Alex Cavanaro early in the early going here. And there's Rich Strath doubling against Steve DiMartino. Steve coming off a win against it was I've got it, Ray Edwards. And he came out with what, the front 7 or a spare next 7, something dominant. Did Steve DiMartino. And you know Steve from the Jersey area, right?
Yeah, he is a very good, accurate player. He's throwing a Phase 2 and an IQ Tour mix.
There it is.
And he got the chance to throw the IQ Tour after putting 7 in a row with the Phase 2 last match against Ray.
Well, that looked more like the IQ. Couldn't really tell.
Yeah, it was.
Just ripping through that side of it. But there's an example, Greg, of getting it left and hoping the dry will pick up, but it doesn't. It kind of goes forward at the end of the pattern.
Yeah, these look like brand new lanes that they just installed, so there's not going to be as much forgiveness in the track, and certainly not outside. And the pattern is flat. It's flat from 9 to 2. In other words, 9 to 9 is flat. So very tough to get it back from out there.
Yep. And of course, these pairs are fresh, and so there's been no finals bowled on them today. This is the first time. The bowlers did have 12 minutes of practice, which I found to be quite a bit, and they were able to maybe break them down a little bit. But here's Anthony shooting 3-7 and gets it. Look at the spare shooting on this pair, and the pair continues to be clean with 2 great split conversions. And there's McDuffie going right. Another example of not coming off the dry as hard as you wish. And there's a washout for McDuffie. That may give the open back that. All right, Josh Stenek makes that 3-6-10 that he chopped last time, and McDuffie now with the washout can give that open right back, although he's on a double, so he'll retain the lead, make it or not. And good shot there by Copping to get a triple. Daryl cannot convert the washout, so a lot of exciting action here, Greg. This is all 4 division finals right in front of us. These 4 winners will now move on to the last event of the tournament, which is the shootout round, and we'll all move over to 27 and 8, and they will be bowling with a fixed handicap system. Under 215 will get 10 pins. Over 50 out of a win will get 6 pins, and the rest will bowl scratch. And we will have a 1-game shootout for the $6,000 first prize to be Northeast Megabucks Grand Champion. So very exciting. One more match after this coming up.
This is a very exciting opportunity for many different skill levels and many different age groups to come together and bowl a tournament. This format is fantastic, and I was excited to compete in the under 35 division, but it's awesome to see so many competitors here.
Well, here I am in the over 55 division, and if I look at the first out, that's me. And, I'll tell you what, sympathies to Havar Hagen-Nilsson, who helped me with the scores. He was first out in the under 35 and 36 to 54. First out was Henrik Tremblay from a number of the French-Canadian guys who came down. Great crew up there. And then, of course, Michael Rock first out in the under 215. So a lot of great competition and a lot of scores really sniffing around that cut line. Very, very tight matches. Tight qualifying, tight matches here. That's all you could ask for.
I saw a lot of good bowling in general. It's 6-1. It's not a gimme. There's a lot of good shot making, a lot of good bowling, and it's very cool to see. Very cool to watch this. I needed to come here this morning, even if I wasn't bowling. I wish I was bowling, but it was
I'm glad you came because you're my broadcast partner, and you know the pattern and you know how it works. Now Eric did get that back. He got that to slow down and make the corner at the end of the pattern for the next 4. Maybe something about that 600 RPM rev rate or so might have helped just a little bit to peel it off the corner. So, well, Alex Cavanaro failing to double against Copping's four-bagger puts Cavanaro in a pretty deep hole. Anthony Scaccia with a double to his opponent's triple. So Shoemaker now in the driver's seat on that match. Move over to the senior match. Looks like Rich Strath flagged a spare. I didn't see which one.
It was a 7-pin.
It was
a wrap 7. He liked the shot too.
Wrap 7 and
Very
flags
good
it.
shot.
Meanwhile, Steve DiMartino is spared. Now there's the kind of strikes I saw out of Anthony liberally when I crossed next to him yesterday. And meanwhile, now it's saying that he did make the spare. Rich Strath. Now it's saying that he's got a spare up there.
I guess there was a score change.
Oh, I guess so. Did he make it? I'm sorry, I didn't see. You have one job. Just watch the match. I didn't see that he made it, but now it's scored that he made it. So it's interesting. And Cody Shoemaker a little bit late with the urethane comes up. He made it. Thank you for chiming in. Some more people on the live stream more observant than us, Greg. I'm sorry to say. That's not good for job security.
Sometimes I bowl like I did in qualifying. I watched like I did bowling in qualifying with my eyes closed.
Well, I think we were too busy gabbing, to do that. Meanwhile, Alex barely striking there. And Rich Strath's a good example of playing out and getting it off the corner and strikes there. So 1-pin match between Strath and Steve DiMartino. Meanwhile, Josh misses another spare, and that's going to be the 3-6-9-10, but we have to give him 20 pins. So in the fourth, he's got 51. And now, if we add 10, he's got 20, he's got 71, and Daryl gets 3 pins. So his 54 is actually 57. So closer than you think on that match.
Yeah, you get one mistake when you have 20 pins. Really, you get one more mistake than your opponent, but that's not a gimme. It's not a runaway, and certainly I was watching him play all week. Josh can certainly strike, and so Daryl will have to keep making the shots like he's been making all week.
Absolutely, you didn't lead for nothing. And how about 5 in a row for Copping, looking strong from the #1 position against a very tough Alex Cavanaro.
Copping had, I believe, a high set in the entire tournament, did he not?
He did. There's Daryl for a double and gets it. Big shot there. Has to make up some handicap.
I see a lot of control pieces. I see a lot of UC2, IQ Tour, low diff, urethane.
Yep. Once again, Bruce Hall with you here with Greg Tack, helping us analyze this lane pattern and the competition. You are watching the division final of the first annual Northeast Megabuck Tournament. Shout out to Chris and Amy Viali, and now Josh goes 2-8-10. That will be, if he doesn't somehow convert it, his 3rd out of 5 frames open, and deep trouble for Josh.
Looks like he's in an altered reality, and I just think that's a little too angular of a piece at this point of the match, because we are back on the fresh.
And Rich Strath again off the corner, comes up and doubles, and that is going to match the 3-bagger of DiMartino, giving DiMartino the 1-pin lead in that match. So very close match in the over 55 division, and here's Anthony, rips the rack, gives him the triple to get within 1 pin within his match. So very tight matches. So 2 matches are the gap is widening, and 2 are within a pin or 2. Copping going for 6 now. Once we're done here again, we'll move over to lanes 27 and 8, and we will bring you the shootout, which will crown our grand champion. And turned it up, rips the rack. Eric Copping, power to spare. Great shot there. And Cavanaro has, we can start calculating it. He has 249 on the out, and I strongly recommend you get that, Alex. You're going to need every pin of it. And finally, and then how about another ring 10? Thank you very much. And now that just went down to 229, so we can almost punch Eric Copping's ticket into the shootout and as the 36-54 division champion.
I don't know if you've ever had these thoughts, Bruce, but when you get ahead in a match and you're thinking to yourself, all right, I need like 5 pins and 4 balls, and then you panic and think, am I going to throw the gutter like 3 times and foul twice?
I do get those thoughts. I don't get them that bad, but I always get to where it's the last game especially on a tough pattern where I know what I need to make the finals. I figure how many marks I need. So I say, I literally did this out in, I literally did this down in Binghamton. I was 58 over, and the cut was going to end up being like 25. I said, okay, I need 8 marks. I do. And I start off with an open, spare, open. And I'm like, okay, great. And it's a really tough pattern. And I'm like, okay. And then I doubled. Wow, and now I need 1 less mark. Yeah, it's not a good mindset. It's not good. It's not the way to think about it. You got to stay on the attack. Here's Shoemaker to tie it up. Soft strokes, that pitch black, rolls right to the pocket. Great shot, great match. Anthony Caccia.
He's in a purple reactive, Scatia is, and
Scatia,
it looks really good. They're both in the urethane-esque pieces.
Yep. And there's a good shot by Josh coming back.
Looks like he made a ball change to a reality, a little smoother.
Yeah,
it is still
I
asymmetrical.
As you said, I couldn't do anything angular. I left my alternate in the car, in fact, knowing that it would just be too much flip for this. I like the reality check. That's an arc ear reaction. But even it wasn't enough. I just had to move in with the reality and play the middle and be done with it.
I had to smack the shine off of any piece I was throwing that was pearl.
Yep. And Strath gets the trip on the 7. Run it out, Rich. Double, spare, triple. Meanwhile, Steve DiMartino spare 4-baggers. And Copping gets the 9-pin messenger to go. How about spare next 7 for Eric Copping? It's game over for the 36-54 division. Eric will be moving on to lanes 27 and 8 for our grand shootout.
Now, does that count as a Farkle?
You know, we're going to have to ask Chris Valley. He did promise that we'd come on the live stream for the last match. So we'll have to table that question and have it available for us, as well as the prize list. I got asked about the prize list on the fun. I don't have it in front of me. I'm sorry. We will. And great shot there by Cody to keep the pressure on Scatia. Can he do it? And Cody Shoemaker with 269 on the out. And Anthony 278 on the out, so quite a match here in the under 35 division. And big shot there, got that way left, not going to come off that corner. Washout for Anthony and deep trouble. I'm going to believe he felt a little pressure there, Greg.
Yeah, Cody got into the last one. He gave a little excitement there, and sometimes I certainly see it.
He's an excitable player. We were talking. He lets his emotions show.
Sometimes anybody who runs out a shot or gets one, it definitely puts a little pressure on it. But wow, nice spare by Anthony.
Very
good spare shooting.
Great washout conversion there. Amazing. This pair is still clean, despite 2 split conversions and a washout conversion. Pretty amazing bowling here. Meanwhile, here's Steve DiMartino looking for number 6. And turns it off the corner and gets it. And meanwhile, Rich Strath staying right with him. The only disadvantage is Rich's miss was in the middle of his string, and Steve's went in his first frame. And Copping gets the mixer. Now, a lesser ball might have left the mixer 4 there, but not Eric Copping. He blows it out and has 290 on the out.
Technically now Eric literally shut out Alex with the amount of strikes he has.
Literally, right. Yeah, well, it was over pretty much anyway, so.
Alex is a solid player. He's bowled very, very well all week, and including some of the sweepers as well. So good bowling to Alex.
Shout out to Savage Arms, our title sponsor, and Rock 102 supplying the music in between our matches here. And they've been on site here the whole tournament. Great. And there's the week 7 that Rich is trying to avoid. And that's going to put him down to DiMartino because of that miss. Well, Anthony, what can he do on the out? 254 on the out. He can definitely make Cody show up here. Cody at a 239 pace, so definitely not over yet. Cody would need a double to actually lock it up.
And my parents both said, "Hey, did you see who was sponsoring the tournament?" They both heard of both of them, and it's so cool, brand recognition. And
yeah.
I work in marketing.
Great shot by Cody. Brings it up. Well, if you see some of the videos they've done, we've got some Farkle videos. We've got a beautiful intro video to the event that I think we're going to put on the beginning of these live streams, so that should be fun. And Alex finally finding the range and is going to finish strong here, but not nearly enough against the possible 290 of Eric Copping. Now Strath missed a 7th pin, or did he make the 7th pin earlier? But he definitely made that one.
Never a doubt about that one.
Never a doubt. So 62.28 pace for Strath, and already 240 plus pace for DiMartino. So DiMartino 20 pins to the good on that game. And there's the miss by Copping that Alex was looking for about 8 frames ago.
You talked earlier about how he could miss right and it would come back, and for him, he missed a little inside that time and he didn't have as much hold as maybe you would expect.
With that rev rate, you're going to cut right through that hold. Now let's check in on the Stanek match. Is this pretty much over? He gets 20 pins, 80. He can shoot 230 on the out.
I don't think it's over.
Daryl, it's not over. Although there's a baby split, so now we're down to the 2 O's, if that, even with handicap. And his opponent, Daryl, pacing already to 220. So I believe we're going to punch Daryl McDuffie's ticket into the grand shootout. And here's Alex. Again, gets right, doesn't come back. And Steve DiMartino looking very good. And Cody Shoemaker looking very good. So we're very close to crowning our division champions here. And what a great week. Starting Thanksgiving qualifying squads and a sweeper, and qualifying squads Friday with a sweeper, and squads all day on Saturday. Filled the 2 o'clock squad, so it's quite the event. There's a rule that there's no more than 4 on a pair, which I like a lot, Greg.
I like the fast pace and that you can continue to strike. They have that in the PBA as well. I'm interested to see their plan for expansion, because I know this tournament's going to grow and they're going to have a lot of people coming for what they're going to chase.
I would advise anyone listening to this, if you're coming next year, Cody Shoemaker gets the strike to basically lock it up. He's in the 250s, and now Anthony can go to the 250s, but only 254, so that locks it up.
I don't mean to mark anything as impossible, but with the urethane, I find the bucket hit to be common, and so if Cody leaks one right, the match is technically not over, so Scasia needs to just buckle down and say, you know what, you never know.
That's right, get 2 here, you never know. That's a pretty good shot. And gets the trip 6. Thank you very much. Meanwhile, Josh Stanek did convert that baby split, but unfortunately, you can only get to 208 with his handicap.
There goes those thoughts earlier.
Which means Daryl would have to mark. Well, Daryl definitely is going to have to show up. Well, there's the ring 10. That's going to hurt those prospects. So 167, so 180, 177, 197 maximum now for Josh with his handicap. And Cody. And let's put the fork in that one. No bucket there, Greg. He dead flushes it. And now look at these games by Cody Shoemaker. He's coming off a 250 win, 256, and now he's going to shoot 269. So Cody Shoemaker with that pitch black soft stroke around the track, just whacking them.
I was talking to Cody in between the stream, and he said he hasn't thrown a game lower than 243 since he switched to the pitch black.
That's crazy. That's just crazy. Now here's Anthony shooting 250s and gonna lose, and that tells you something about the pattern and the talent. Let's see. Here's Daryl, and with the mark, locks it up. Congratulations to Daryl McDuffie. Punches his ticket. It will be Daryl McDuffie, Cody Shoemaker, Eric Copping, and either Rich Strath or Steve DiMartino. Right now, and Josh goes by that 10 pin. That's irrelevant, though. So with basically a 30 pin deficit now, Rich Strath's in a must strike situation. He can get to 258, which would definitely push DiMartino to double, or yeah. Well,
Steve's going to need 269. He goes out the gate for 269. It is a little closer than it might look up there, even though Steve's got all those strikes.
Yeah. Well, it's 21 is what it is. He's got to get that off the corner and gets the trip 3. He rolls the 3-pin and takes the curtsy. Now let's see how DiMartino responds to that, because I mean, Rich knew he threw that one pretty much out the window, but he's playing so far left that he's got dry right away. He's putting it almost down on the dry boards, and it recovers, carries, keeps his 258 alive. And DiMartino's only at a 249 pace. But he slaps the 10, no problem there. Steve, boy, he could lull you to sleep, Steve. He's got that soft roll. He's got that roll forward, and it's not really going really fast, but it's rolling right up to the pocket and doing the damage.
Yeah, all these things we're talking about, how opponents who, get excited, get in your heads. These guys are not letting that bother them at all. They're very good competitors. Maybe that's why I didn't make the cut this weekend.
Well, dude, you and I just got to keep grinding, Haas. That's all you can do, baby. Miss by 3, come back the next time. On to the next one.
That's exactly it. I look forward to coming back to this one. This is going to be a big event next year.
This will be on my calendar every year, no doubt about it. And again, big shout out to Chris and Amy Bialy, and of course, help from Hagar Halvan-Nielsen and Danny Kay for running the show. Debbie Brogan, part of the scene here, helping out, and Megan Haas, of course, and her whole staff here at AMF Chicopee, Bowlero Chicopee, excuse me. So really proud of everybody here now. I think the crowd is getting a little bit rowdy, but there's still a match to play here. I think everybody needs to realize that. Because Rich Strath, with that double, actually got himself within 11. So
yeah, Steve needs the first 2 hits. This is not
this is not over
all.
by any means. I mean, people are clapping for the other winners, but people are getting a little bit restless here, and they need to be respectful of this last match. And here's DiMartino, as you say, Greg, needs 2 to lock it up.
And Rich is going to his good lane, because he has not missed on that lane yet.
DiMartino high in the pocket, dead flush, great shot.
When Steve gets on a roll, he is very, very tough to beat. He is a good, accurate player.
Well, you're not kidding, because now he's got 239, but if he misses, so Rich needs them all for 258, and if DiMartino were to go 9 spare, we could tie at 258. And Rich gets the first one.
Rich walked out a couple lanes. Rich, you got to come back to 23 to bowl your next shot, buddy.
You notice he didn't run it out. See, that's the difference in the over 55. There's no running it out. You walk it out at that point.
Got to do one of those moonwalk dances in there.
That's what we need. Anyway, DiMartino, huge shot. If you imagine ring 10 spare, Rich goes sheet, we have a tie.
Oh my gosh.
It could happen. DiMartino, biggest shot of the week, right here. Strike to win. And gets it in, right up the oil, dead flush. Gets the strike, just too much to handle for Rich Strath. Rich made basically 1 week 7, got that rolled 3-pin, and another week 7, that's it, can't win. So here's possibly another 250 loser. We had Anthony Scaccia lose with 250, and now Strath could lose with 250.
I can promise you this was a matter of the talent of the field. Gateway Arch is not as easy as that 6-1 would suggest. These guys are just very, very good.
I had 2 thoughts that I had to follow, and Rich does get into the 250s, and what a performance by leader Rich Strath, who's going to have to take second for the division. And congratulations, it will be Cody Shoemaker, Eric Copping, Steve DiMartino, and Daryl McDuffie all into the grand final. And we will have Chris Vialli on for the call as we go. And there's a Farkle for Steve DiMartino, the perfect rolling Farkle. And congratulations to Steve for that win. And I believe that's a rolling Farkle is what we're talking about there. And meanwhile, Rich Strath now wrapping things up on this 2:58 losing effort. Can you believe that, Greg? Wow, another week 7, 2:57 for Rich Straff. Gets a nice hand from the crowd. All right, folks, thank you very much. Greg, thanks so much for sitting in. Guys, we will be back with the grand shootout in just a few minutes. And once again, thanks to the sponsors, and we will be back in a minute.
Thanks so much for having me, Bruce.
Okay, thanks, Greg. We'll be down to bowl. We'll be down to bowl on the flat soon, down New Jersey. Thanks a lot, my friend.
That'll be fun.
Okay, bye-bye, everybody. We'll be right back.
So the 4 finalists, I want you guys to meet me
Really
at the
appreciate it.
tournament
Thank you
desk.
for any time. Great job. Great job.
We're going to go over a few